What is going on, fellas, and welcome back to Hungary for Success with me, FoggyPlays, on FM21. Today we're doing the end of season review and probably the first two games of the Europa Conference League, because we're in for the first qualifying round, so that should be lots of fun. But we do have a little bit of time to do some transfers, so if you do going to enjoy this transfer special, then make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we do this every day. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Right, fellas, so the end of season review for the most recent season, which if you are up to date with the series, you'll know that it's slightly disappointing. The fact that we lost the league on the final day of the season. To be fair, we were top of the league for one game, and it was the second last game of the season. We did win the cup though, so that's something to be proud of. We won Dorog's second ever trophy. Could have been third, because it could have won the top division, and that would have been nice. Are we doing anything? Okay, we are, thankfully. Thank you. It's only taken it's taken almost a minute to get here. How is Frid Johnson not the signing of the season? The man came in for nothing, scored 21 goals in 24 games. Or Carlsberg, who is in exceptional form. Mortis Leitner, pretty decent season. Mandira, when given the opportunity, had a very good time as well. They're giving it to Pushkash. Fair enough, Pushkash did play a lot of games, to be fair. They're a little bit unhappy with Frid Johnson's wages. That's fair enough. Did anyone... Theo Walcott. E. To be fair, he's old, so kind of makes sense. Really good player for this season though, which can't really complain about that. So in the top division, we were expected to get a top half finish. Got fourth. Really disappointed with the fact that we only got fourth. You can see how tight the league was. Like 2 points separated the top 5. So almost half the league was covered by 2 points. That's insane. We did have just short of half the average home attendance, but competition top scorer for the league was Frid Johnson with 13, which I think he was the 5th or 6th top goal scorer. The Europa Conference League, we weren't expected to do an awful lot third qualifying round. We made it to the group stage, and Versace scored 9 goals. And in the Hungarian Cup, Frid Johnson had 8 goals. We won it, expected to get to the quarter final, which, you know, when you win it, you make it beyond the quarter final. That's how competitions work, interestingly enough. The biggest win was against Kishvarda, 7-1. Match to remember was 4-2 against Fervar. We did have a pretty pretty decent time against Fervar this season. Garbut getting a goal in that game. But the goal of the season was Versace against Zalgiris. So let's have a look and see what that goal was. A fierce effort from 25 yards out. It was the first goal of the game. To be fair, this team isn't too different to the one we ended the season with. Vass is pretty much Vass and Shedler and Garate were the only ones that weren't nailed on starters. Kate's finally doing something. Shouldn't have bothered doing this. We're not making much progress, lads. I apologize. Derlatka. Oh, he's gone as well. Vang's gone. So Shedler went forward. Vass got it to Versace. Versace turned, and we scored better goals than that. I'm just going to put it out there. We scored better goals than that. Finances. Let's see what we did. We should have made a lot of money this year. Well, we did make a lot of money this year. I am aware of our finances. We did spend a little money. We updated the youth facilities. And we're also in the midst of updating the training facilities, which is fantastic. Sponsorship stayed the same as it was last year. Broadcast revenue increased a little bit. Corporate and hospitality jumped up. Competition prize money rocketed up, and matchday commercial and retail went up by almost double, which is fantastic. We sold 719 shirts, which is pretty good. Versace, Frid Johnson, Leitner, Walcott, and Ortiz as the top shirt sales. Kind of expect that. Versace, Frid Johnson, well, Leitner and Walcott would be better known players, but I like that we've picked up a decent amount of players. Hut Wagner managed a total of 50 games this season, so fair dues to him. Played pretty much every game. I know Joel Pereira played some of the cup games, so he was getting involved. Other than that, don't think any other goalkeepers started for us. But Pierlewski went on guard as the wing backs. Derek and Pushkash in centre back. Ortiz and Typhon in central midfield. Versace and Carlsberg gets in there ahead of Shetlar. And Fred Johnson and Monazimi getting in there as well. Monazimi, to be fair, 18 goals. It was just a little bit hit or miss, shall we say. A lot of missing. The fans' player of the season and young player of the season was Versace. Signing of the season was Pushkas. Goal of the season was Versace, which we saw. Top goal scorer was also Versace, and he had the most assists. Most man of the matches went to Fred Johnson. He was one away from equaling Shedlar's record from a couple of years ago. Actually, went for last season. Highest average rating went to Versace as well, 7.1, and Mortiz Leitner had 30 passes per 90 minutes. He is a playmaker. You kind of expect him to be doing stuff like that. Fred Johnson won the Hungarian Division 1 Player of the Year. He did have a fantastic time. I'm glad we eventually persuaded him to join us, because it did take quite a while. The most goals by a player in a match, Fred Johnson got 4. Most goals by a player in a league match was also a new record. Mandira scored 4 against Kishvarda. Was it Kish? Yeah, I think it was Kishvarda. No, it wasn't. It was. I don't remember who he scored 4 against, but we smashed him anyway. Most assists, Ujpest. Was it Ujpest? Yeah, why not? Yeah. Most assists in a season for Sachi with 16. Worst discipline, my favourite left back, on guard, 20 yellows, 1 red. And Theo Walcott was the oldest goal scorer at 34 years and 62 days. History in the making, your hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at the end of our season award ceremony. 5-7 against Kishvarda. Just an interesting little throw up there, you know. What's the worst could happen? Dorogi have been brilliant since day one. Their early season football was a joy to watch. To be fair, early season was not where we were at our peak, but I'll take it nonetheless. The overall best 11 has a nice little look to it. Now, Hut Wagner is in as the goalkeeper. He's probably played the most, definitely played the most games actually, of all the goalkeepers we've had in the series so far. Pierlewski on guard as our wingbacks, Derek and Belnese. How's Belnese getting on at his new club? Don't actually know where he's gone off to. He played 21 games in the second division. I think that's his level. He was really good for us in the second division. Didn't really get much of a chance in the top division. Versace is in as a central midfielder with Ortiz. Shedler and Shabo. How is Shabo getting on off Assas? I forgot he went there. 7 games. And we've 2 target men up front. And a target man on the bench. We do love our target men, clearly. Mersitz is at Haladas. He had a very good season. No complaints from him, I'd imagine. Pushkash, Typhon Walcott, Gabriel, Markella, and Delchik, who is retired and is currently unemployed. Might try and bring him in the summer. Unfortunately, finishing 4th. That was big disappointment. We were quite leaky defensively and aggressively clinical in the attacking positions. XG was 69, we got 85. XG, our expected points, 58.1. Actual points, 63. Our expected position was 3rd, we got 4th. So thanks for reminding me that we were not as good as we should have been. So for club culture for next season is play defensively solid football. We're probably not going to do that. Direct counter-attacking, entertaining football. I can try all that. Sign players under the age of 20 for the future. That's what I've been doing, so that's pretty handy. They want us to reach the top half of, or finish in the top half of the league, reach the 3rd qualifying round again, and then from there on they just want us to be recognised as the best of the rest. Squad dynamics, very, very good. We don't have, as it is right now, we don't have much in the way of change abound. I don't want to say I'm going to push for the title. We'll be mid-table. Need to achieve a bit more ambition. Not a bother. Yeah. If not dad, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Next season, give a good account of ourselves. Sensible target, perfect. I am happy with all of that. Discuss some promises. Outstretched arms. Younger players. Zoidberg, you're one of those players. That'll be. That's enough promises for now. Like Zoidberg, I don't understand why he's so like, oh, why would you want to play young players? You're one of those young players, buddy. The new season team report is generally a load of shite. It makes no sense, but it's actually a pretty decent team. Chloe Donnelly, well done. You've actually managed to pick a decent starting 11. Perry Moss missed 51% of the season. Zoidberg had 5 injuries, and the longest injury obviously was Perry Moss for 5 months, but he was away when that happened. Lads are going on holidays until the 3rd of July, which they actually won't be, because we'll be coming back in June? Probably. For our, when did we start our... Oh no, it was we're already on this season. Actually, it was July. Alright, that's fine, because I think last year we were supposed to come back at like the middle of July, like a couple of weeks before the season started. We ended up having to come back in like June. Probably have to come back in June again when the draw gets done for the Europa Conference League. Which actually, who won the Europa Conference League this year? Because I haven't checked. It's CSKA against Leon. They haven't played yet, but I think they're playing today. Question mark. Are you playing today? 24th. Okay, so they don't play till next week. So it'll be a French team or a Russian team winning the league or the cup for the second season. Kind of hoping it'll be CSKA Moscow, although I do like Leon, but we'll have to see. Transfer wise, I have already shown everyone that is going to be joining. I haven't done any more business. If it'll ever appear, I haven't done any other business in bringing players in. It's just that Turkish goalkeeper and the Slovakian central midfielder. But I'm going to be looking to shift some of the older players off, because the squad's getting a little bit on the older side for my liking. I think the average age is 22. That's a little bit too old. So we're going to just ignore that. I'll bring you back for the 1st of July, or for the first, or when the first league game of the season arrives. And we'll have a look and see what transfers have been done between now and then. So don't go anywhere. Right, fellas. So we've actually come to the second knockout, our second qualifying round, because we have Hapoel Beersheva. The rules changed and I didn't realize it. We're actually in the second, so, yeah, it's the second qualifying round, and there's MTK, I think, are in this round as well, which is fantastic. Next season I think it's changing again, because we've been doing actually not terribly. So we're up to the point where we're going to be recording tomorrow's episode, which will be both legs against Hapoel Beersheva. And we've gotten our start to next season as well, which we're starting season with Schentlerik and Puskás Akademia, and Kisverde third. Don't know who we're playing in the Hungarian first round, or Hungarian Cup first round yet. But we are ending the season with 3 of the top 5 teams from last season: Meshkoved, Ferencváros, and Ferver. So in theory, if nothing changes, this is going to be a very difficult season or very difficult time to end the season. For next season, we are expected to finish 5th, which is interesting because Puskás are above us. We have managed to get the average age back down to 21, and I don't think there's anything on the screen here. No, there's nothing on the screen here. Oh, okay, well, actually, there's. I was going to say, there's none of the starting 11 that would make you kind of go, oh, who's this guy? So as it is, you already know about Mede Khan. We're also bringing in Abdul Rahman El Shamali, who's a central midfielder from Syria. Don't you know? Got ourselves a Syrian. Never actually played a game of football, but looks pretty decent. Unambitious. Hopefully we can change that when he arrives. Mede Khan is fairly professional, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Mortiz Leitner refusing to sign a new contract, so his current deal ends at this end of the season. I've transfer listed him. thrown him up to see what would happen. Meshkoved have come in and offered us 475,000. That literally just happened today. So I'll find out what happens in the future with this. But the players we have brought in, Lucas Kovic is one of our centre midfielders who can also play as a defensive midfielder, centre back, right wing, and attacking midfielder. Not so sure about the old attacking or right wing or centre back, but all in all, pretty decent looking centre back. Only 18, so plenty of time to improve. Only ever played for Slovan Bratislavas under 21s, so don't expect him to be coming into the team straight away. 1.6k a week. We're starting to spend big on some players. Didier Diaz came up as an amateur contract. He was on an amateur contract in Portugal, which when I was told about, when this guy popped up, I was like, really? Amateur contract for this guy? So we signed him. Obviously, because he wants to be a playmaker. I'm teaching him to be a box-to-box. Because we don't really play with a playmaker all that much. But this guy looks pretty good. A grand a week. He wanted to be an important player. I think he's probably going to be. 17 years old. Yes. MTK have not learned from their previous mistakes. We're taking one of their defenders on loan. Just to reinforce our left back position, because we don't really have left backs. Ongard is our only real left back at the minute, so we'll have to see what happens with him. Hopefully he stays fit. He's actually just recovered from an injury very, very recently, so I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be fit for the game against Hapoel Beersheva, but we'll find out in the next episode. Players that have left, Suchev's gone on loan to VAC. Not going to offer him a contract, so if we'll see how he gets on with VAC, maybe they'll offer to buy him in January. Jan Markish has gone to Schenkerik for 70k. Quite happy with that. Played 12 times for us, scored one singular league goal, played 13 in total. Kind of happy he's gone. Kyle has gone to one of our affiliates. Played a couple of non-competitive games for us last year, was third choice. Never really had an opportunity. Did play 4 times actually in his first season with us when we were in the second division. Never really saw him thought he was going to be good enough. He's going to be first choice in the second division next year. Perry Moss also decided he didn't want to be part of the team anymore because this season, I think it was our first season in the top division, we didn't loan him out. Or no, we loaned him out. No, what was it? We loaned him out to Bekshaba, and I think he broke his leg or something. Yeah, he broke his leg. So we recalled him, and he threw up a fuss about that. So I was like, off you go. Giorgio Barron has gone out on loan as well, as has Zima, who's a hot prospect, 17-year-old striker, who I think could be pretty decent. Artem Broy, he's gone out on loan again just because he had a pretty decent season last year. Well, okay, he played a lot of games last year. It wasn't decent, but he's getting some first team football. Garate wanted to leave because he wasn't getting enough first team football. Can't blame him for that. 165k, pretty chuffed with that if I do say so myself. Suklevic is a centre back. Yeah, centre back who we brought in. It feels like forever ago, but it wasn't actually that long. 2 years ago. He's just gone. We never played him. So I think he just went into the under 19s and we never saw him again. Zuigber has decided he wants to leave. Didn't get a huge amount of game time last year, so he's gone for 81k up front, potentially 180k if all his add-ons get added on to it. Kind of sad to see him go. Definitely would have gotten some game time if he'd stayed this year, but what can you do? Serkovic is a centre midfielder from Bosnia. This was kind of like, we bought a bunch of players we bought 2 or 3 players from Bosnia, and I think they've all left now. He went back on loan to the team he was with before we signed him, before going to Hanvid last season, and now he's gone to Botafoc. Who else is important that we have gotten rid of? Momoli's gone out on loan to Ashka. Just picked up a bunch of injuries last year, so we're going to give him a chance in the lower divisions and see if he can do something. Cameron Stanley, who we signed, one of our first signings at the club. Spent a couple of seasons out, or 3 seasons out on loan. We offered him a new contract last year. I think it was like a 2-year deal. When he came back, I was just like, no point in keeping him. He's declined significantly. Yeah, like physically, he's horrendous. So he's gone after playing like the 3rd division. I'm not going to worry too much about him because he's forever gone. Schedler has decided he wanted to leave because of the fact that he basically did not play in the second half of last season. This hurt my heart. This hurt my heart because this guy was very good in our first season when we got promoted. Very, very good in our first top division season. Struggled last year to get game time. The fact that he picked up so many niggly injuries, but he's gone and he's going to be playing in the top division. So I'm quite happy with that. And then this guy was a 5-star potential centre back, or yeah, centre back / central midfielder who we brought through in the not last youth academy. Was it last year? No, it was the year before. Just I didn't think he was going to get it any better than he is. We got 18.25k for him from Kishvarda. If we can weaken Kishvarda and take money off them, not a problem. I don't think we released anyone either, actually. No, we didn't release anyone. No one's contract ran out. I've kind of kept on top of contracts as it is. But this year we have a bunch of players who are not unavailable on long-term deals. We've offered a couple of deals to players in the hopes that they'll sign them. I think Astra has a new contract. Ongard and Frid Janssen have been offered new contracts. Theo Walcott and Leitner have been told that, well, Theo Walcott wanted a massive pay rise. Leitner wanted a massive pay rise. And I said no, so they're leaving. And it's for anyone doing the 19s that we need to. Joel Pereira. I offered him out and then conveniently damaged his Achilles tendon like 3 weeks later when nobody was interested in him. So he's out for 5 months. Probably never going to see him again. And everyone else is just basically release fodder at this stage. I don't think any of them are even worth looking at. Like this guy, I don't even know how he's still here. Like, how have I let this happen? He's 18 years old and he cannot play football. So yeah, that's all the transfers that we've done to this point. But we have plenty of time left in the transfer window. If I'm not mistaken, we have like 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 8.5, 9 weeks. And we have 23 players after leaving. 3 have come in. So for once we've not been the busiest bringing players in. Try to control myself this time around. But Paksh and Shentlerik have been promoted. I'm actually curious. Yeah, they're expected. Shentlerik are expected to like properly go down. Like they're hot favourites for relegation. We're not too far away from like a top 4 team. I would like to be, second. That would be ideal. But like I said, next episode is going to be the first 2 Europa Conference League second qualifying round, first and second leg against Hapoel Beersheva, who I know for a fact are a pretty fruity team for youth players. So potentially throw some scouts their way and see what they can do. So if you have enjoyed this episode and you're looking forward to the start of season 4, do leave a comment down below letting me know which of the 3 players we've signed so far do you think is going to be the most influential in our team, and if you think we're going to be able to beat Hapoel Beersheva, because it should be interesting. Also, one thing I did fail to mention, if we make it through to the next round, we're playing Besiktas. So if we do make it there, probably going to get knocked out. So we'll wait and see. And we have a couple of players who are just recovering from injuries, like Versace is just back from an injury, Ongard is just back from an injury, so potentially won't be playing. If he doesn't play, then this guy, who I'm teaching to be a left back, this is the guy who came through as our like top prospect from our most recent youth intake. I'm teaching him to be a left back. Not picked it up yet. He's taking his time. Been learning it since the day he arrived. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, fellas, and I will see you in the next one.